Hello everybody and welcome. I'm Cindy Daychuk with Queen Bee Creations. Thanks for tuning in today. We are going to do kind of a little Valentine's project, and it's a Valentine's project only in so much as we're going to be using all kinds of different little cherubs. Now these are things that I have found in the thrift store, so very inexpensive and quite honestly very easy to find. These are great in people's gardens. They use them as little decor pieces up on their shelves, and you know, like these ones, these two guys are little shelf sitters, right? Their feet hanging over the edges. So we're going to, so that's the only part that makes this sort of Valentine's, right? You've got the little angels, the little cherubs, the little, you know, kind of work for that. But we're gonna make them over. And I just wanna show you how kind of easy it is to, I'm just picking off little loose bits of things off of them. And I do have one that has a little bench. So they could sit there. I mean, two could sit there. It's a little crowded. I think it's just for one. So we're gonna make them over. And I just wanna give you kind of looks from the standpoint of the different looks that you can achieve just by using different colored paints. So we're gonna use the same technique on all of them, but we're gonna do just different colors. Same kind of look, same kind of technique, just different colors. So I'm gonna finish these guys the same. And then potentially do pink, green, and maybe we'll do one dark, like do one starting off with apothecary so that you can see even with a darker color where you can go with this. Okay, that might be fun. You know me, I'm just kind of faking it as I go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take French millinery, which is like this light mauve color, and I'm gonna do a base coat of our angel and our little chair. I'm gonna take this guy and I'm gonna do him apothecary, so he's gonna go the light green. This guy, just so that we can play with a dark color, I'm gonna take bohemian blue, and we're gonna do bohemian blue. And this little guy, I am gonna start with a base coat of petticoat pink. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to base coat them all, give them a good coating of each of those four colors, and then come back because that's where we start to play. So I'm gonna get painting and I'll be back. I have the first coat on each of these, and I want to show you just how different they look with paint because we did 4 different base coats. So this is the little guy that was done in the French millinery, the mauve. French millinery. So this is what he looks like so far. This is petticoat pink. So look at the difference, just because these guys are very similar, right? Look at the difference just with the colors. This is our little apothecary angel. And are you ready for this? This is our bohemian blue. So I wanted to do a dark one just to show you what it looks like and what I'd originally planned. I'm thinking we may just go gold wax and see how it goes with that, because why the heck not, right? So let's start with this guy first though, because what I want to do with this is I want to do a number of treatments on this one, and I'm looking and I'm seeing, oh, I missed a couple of spots, but it'll be okay, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I want to do a couple of things on this, in which case, and this one too. So we're going to do the same thing to start with this. And for that, I'm taking a light gray. So I'm using Gravel Road, the way DIY. And I keep forgetting with my finger that I need to do this before I start with you guys. That one wasn't bad. Okay, so what I want to do, yikes, almost all over my thing. So here's the thing about DIY paint, right? Like you get it thickening up in here. And unlike other paints, that's okay. I just push all of that crusty stuff down in, and then you can add a little bit of water and you can reconstitute all that clay. And often, because we're gonna make a wash right now, often what I do is I just make a wash in there and I label it wash so that it's very watered down and it's ready to go. Right now, because I have a little bit more paint in here than I need for a wash, because I don't need very much, I'm gonna leave it, but I am gonna go back and add a little bit of water to that afterward. If you're not using your paint often, then you probably don't wanna just use tap water. You probably wanna use like a denatured water? Distilled water, sorry. Denatured alcohol, distilled water. So distilled water, just so that you're not adding in any bacteria that's inadvertently gonna make your paint go bad. If you're using it all the time like I am, who cares? I just use tap water. Just keeping it real, folks. All right, so I added quite a bit of water to this. I would say easily 2 parts water, 1 part paint. DIY is so heavily pigmented, you can add up to 10 parts water to create stains. So if you're doing it just straight on wood. But I'm just looking for a light color, very watery, and I have a super soft brush, right? This is like makeup. It's not a makeup brush, but it's makeup brush soft. And I have painted with makeup brushes, so don't feel that you can't. So I am just getting some loaded on here, and I'm gonna show you on the pink one because I think it will show up on camera a little bit better. But I am just going to be dabbing this all over. So I'm taking that pink and I am kind of softening it down, and I'm just dabbing it because I don't want it solid, but I want a little bit of that textured look happening, but you could certainly just paint over. And this is what you get. So see how that pink shines through because that wash is so translucent, so transparent. You still get that pink tone, but it's going to soften it out. So I'll show you a little bit of the difference on the purple as well. So this one's not going to be as graphic a difference, but we're still going to be graying him out. Okay, so I'm going to get busy carrying on doing that with both of those and the bench as well, and let them dry before we come back and do more with each of those. And certainly before I start the others. Now this guy, I am going to cover him in clear wax. So I've got clear wax by DIY. I'm looking on the table somewhere. I have it somewhere. So I'm gonna do him all in clear before we come back. But I'm loving that really deep teal. And I know it's a bold choice, but sometimes you don't have to be like pastel about the Valentine thing, right? You can be bold about it. We'll see how it goes, but we'll come back. Next up for these little guys, you can see how much the gray has softened, taken away some of the brightness of that color. Perfect. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking a small chip brush. I have a little bit of crinoline, which is kind of this cream color. And I've put it onto my plate, and I am looking to kind of dry brush it on. So I'm offloading, and then I'm looking to kind of drag it over my piece to, again, bring out some of the texture that's in it. It's gonna give it a little bit more of that wood look, but again, giving a little bit more age. As soon as we start layering paint in a way that shows the under layers of paint, it starts to give it some of that worn sort of textured look. And I'm not looking for a solid coat here, so that's why I'm doing the dry brushing. And you can see the difference here with just the speckled gray, and then here with the dry brushing. So I am going to dry brush all of the chair, dry brush him, and I'm going to dry brush him, her. They don't really have sexes, do they? Not that you see. Okay, mine are them. Them. I'm gonna get them dry brushed, and then we're gonna carry on. This little guy, you can see, has darkened right up because DIY paint dries lighter, and as soon as you add your top coat, whether a big top poly or the wax, it's going to darken it down to the original. But what we're looking at doing with him now is I am going to take just a little chip brush and a little bit of the golden rule, and we are going to do gold all over him. Now this is why I wanted to have the clear, so that the gold wouldn't sink into my bohemian blue too much. So let me show you. And now, because I've got that clear underneath, I'm going to get to wipe it away. And look at how nice that looks. So here we're going a little bit more drama than the other softer looks, but he's gonna be awesome. So I'm just gonna carry on and do the whole piece, wiping him back as I go, and then he's done. But this is looking beauty with that gold. The gold always really pops against any kind of a dark, but I love it with this blue rather than going into just like the super stark black, just having a little bit of that really dark, rich teal. A navy would work as well for something like this. Oh, it's just beauty. It's looking so good. Okay, this one. What I didn't, so if you really like the Apothecary with white wax, he would be super sweet like that. So go ahead and do that. But I've shown you that look a number of times. And so I'm looking at trying something different. So bear with me here. What I'm thinking I'm gonna do is mix some wax. Because you know what? Why not? All right, so I'm gonna take some white wax, which we know and love with Apothecary. And do I have a little stick I could use? Let's just use this. Will it go in enough? No. Okay. You know, there's gotta be something on my table. All right, I'm gonna use my paint can opener. All right, I am taking white wax by DIY. And I am taking Shipwrecked turquoise wax by DIY. And I think this would be too strong. And I've done the white wax. So, you know what? I've never mixed them together. So why not? So it gives a softer look, softer color for sure, than if I was just doing the Shipwrecked on its own. But let's try that one on him. Okay, I'll take my turquoise wax brush though, because we can, and why not? You might never have tried this on your own, so let's try it on his back wings, because that's where we'll do half his little butt and up to his neck. All right, so that's kind of the color that it's going on as. Let's get a clean part of my cloth and wipe them away and see. you know what? That's kind of cool. It softens the green out. It's not as big a contrast as the white on its own, but it gives them a slightly different look. So now I'm thinking I'm gonna have another step after this. Just as I'm seeing it, I'm kind of going, and what if so let me get them all done and get that wax a little bit dry, and then we'll try the next thing I have in mind now. This is how it goes sometimes, guys. You just kind of experiment, and you got one thought and a plan, and then it leads to another thought and a new action plan. And this one I did not clear wax first. So it very much is coloring permanently that paint below it. If you were a little anxious or leery of it, then clear wax it first. That would help you be able to wipe away more of the wax color. But because I just did it straight onto the paint, it sinks in a little bit more, which I'm actually kind of digging. So, okay, so for this guy, so our purple one, you can see he's kind of gotten softer, but you've got like the echoes of the mauve, and you've got echoes of the gray, and now we've got cream. And so what I want to do is seal them. Where did my clear wax go? Oh, sorry, one of my angels is sitting on it. Okay, so I'm gonna take my clear wax, and I'll show you a little bit. So you can see, especially now, as we start to add our sealer, clear wax, that starts bringing back those colors. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna coat this in our wax, and then I want to age it just a little bit further. So I am taking Decrepit Dust. This is also a DIY powder product. It's like a little powder, and I'm going to kind of put it in, and that's my Decrepit Dust brush. I'm going to kind of work it in to that bench a little bit. So I'll do it along the bottom. So it is aging it further. So you can see the difference, the top versus the bottom. And we're just kind of getting it into some of the nooks and crannies, a little bit of the aging happening, and just, you know, here and there. Just making it look a little older, a little bit more worn. Okay, last step, I swear, for this little guy. I just decided that it needed just a little bit of more aging, like a little bit of kind of that, not quite verdigris, but just a little bit more patina. So what I'm doing is I am taking Fancy Farm Girl from DIY, and I am just kind of lightly adding it to some of the edging, and it's just giving it definitely a little bit more of that worn kind of look. Now I'm dry brushing it, and I'm dry brushing with a fan brush, so it is definitely going on very light. I'm not sure that the camera's going to pick it up or not, but it's giving it not quite that moss look because it's lighter than that, but like it's going to moss. like it could start to happen anytime, right? So you know how stone starts to get a little bit of that green cast to it after it's been sitting out in your garden for quite a while. So we're just adding that kind of look to it. I just thought, and my wax is still wet, so it's just kind of blending with the wax. Okay, our little, let me just check which brush I'm using here. Our little angel started off the petticoat pink. We add a little bit of the gray wash and then dry brushed some of the crinoline cream on it. I'm just going to give it a little coating of clear wax, and you can start to see it pulls a little bit more of that pink tone back out. So you definitely start to see those layered colors in it. And I think it looks just kind of sweet like this. What we're going to do though, because just why the heck not? Let's zhuzh it up a little bit more. We're gonna take some of our golden roll, so that's that wax, but I'm really going to have a dry brush with the wax. And I'm going to just kind of add some dry brushed wax over the top. So it's gonna give kind of a little bit of a shimmer. It's gonna give a slight little antiquing cast, but it's going to be a very soft look. It's not gonna be as bold as what we did on our Bohemian Blue Angel, where that is definitely gold. But even then, you're layering the translucent gold over like that really dark teal. Well, you know what? It starts to make almost like a bit of a green cast to it. So as you use the golden rule over different colors, you're gonna get very different looks as well. So see, just kind of softens that out, very pretty. All right, our last angel. We've got that turquoise and white wax sitting over the apothecary. I've got a new brush. So this is all waxed, it's sealed. You know what? I'm gonna take copper patina, Pennies from Heaven by DIY. And we're just gonna dry brush copper over top of them because, again, why not? So I'm just using a chip brush for this. I'm just going to kind of lightly drag it over the top. So I don't want a lot. I just want to kind of highlight some of the details. The highs is what I'm trying to hit here. So look at the difference. It's still soft. We're keeping it light, but we're just getting the highs for him. So I'm going to carry on with this, and then I'll show you the different looks on all of our different little cherub angels. All right, we have finished all of our angels. Now, remember, we started with the same kind of bisque white look on all of these little plaster cast angels. And we've done 4 different finishes, 4 very different looks, and they are all really sweet. So kind of angels for Valentine's, but also kind of a teaching moment showing you different looks. So to start with, these are our little angels. So here's our little angel sitting on the bench. And you can see he's all a little bit aged, a little bit verdigris. And this is our pink one that has got that little cast of gold, just very sweet, very precious looking. This one looks a little bit more concrete. I'm not holding him very steady, sorry. A little bit more like concrete, a little bit. We'll just sit you up beside 2 little buddies there. And you can see in particular the different looks. Now I'll take close up pictures for you so you can see the finishes a little bit more clearly. But here is our finished little turquoise one. So we took that turquoise wax, we softened it with the white, layered it over apothecary, and it almost takes on like more of a blue cast to it. I really like it with the copper dusting in the dry brush over top. It's just got a lot more character. The details really pop. Now, our dark Bohemian Blue with our gold wax. So we did a clear wax finish in the gold wax so that we could really white back the gold. And look at this one. So different, so unique, but really, really gorgeous. And you see what I mean about the translucency of that gold wax layered over that really dark teal, it almost, again, because of the gold color here, the gold and the blue making green, it kind of almost has like a little bit of that worn metal greenish cast to it. Really, really love the look of that. And this is where I go with a lot of the smalls. I mean, these are the perfect kind of projects for you to be able to play with different finishes, right? So I haven't mixed the turquoise wax with white before. Okay, we'll see how it looks. How does it look layered over the green, right? The apothecary. This is new, but this becomes something where, you know, if I'm doing a dramatic little table, side table, ooh, that could be a finish. So very often, play with some of the colors, play with some of the finishes, play with some of the looks on smalls. That's going to give you the courage to be able to do that on some of the bigs. Let me know what you think of these ones, guys. Love to hear from you as always. Certainly let me know if you want to see more of this kind of idea with different finishes that you could use on some of your smalls for your home, your booth. Apply to some of the big pieces that you're working on. See how it goes. Take care, and I hope to see you soon.